Hello, I'm Virginia Cha. The 52nd congressional district race is a statistical dead heat, according to the latest scientific poll by 10 News and UT San Diego. Now, with the election just weeks away, we want to ask questions to help voters decide. Congressman Scott Peters joining us right now. Welcome.
Thanks, Virginia.
Okay, so people have been asking me about this, so I have to ask you. There is a TV campaign ad running right now.
Right.
It says that you voted for a bill, a defense bill that affects contractors, and that you sold stock for $500,000. That we want to find out, did you or someone in your family sell stock related to defense contractors?
Well, your own TV news has aired a report of the Civility Project that calls that ad false. It rated it F for truthfulness. The Defense Committee that I'm on does not vote on contracts at all. So none of my votes had anything to do with any of my personal wealth. It's just false. Your own TV has recognized that, the UT has recognized that, and as has the Voice of San Diego. I think what voters really want to know about is what are we going to do in Congress to get Congress moving to fix things for the middle class. And when I was elected in 2012, what I promised to do was to make sure that we would bring a more problem-solving, more collaborative approach than what we'd had. The Tea Party had locked it up. They were threatening shutdowns, and we had our credit downgraded for the first time. I'm proud that through passing no budget, no pay, the law that says if Congress can't do its job, they're not going to get their paychecks, that we've actually created the first budget in Congress in 2 years, and we're moving forward. And at a local level, the five of us here representing San Diego, the five congressional delegates, we all get along very well. And even Darrell Issa said it's a group that likes each other and works well together.
I want to ask you, this is top of mind for a lot of people. Most people had never even heard of ISIS until fairly recently. Now, you are on the subcommittee on intelligence, emerging threats, and capabilities. The U.S. has committed to airstrikes. At what point would you consider boots on the ground to fight ISIS in Iraq or Syria?
Well, I'm not considering that at this point at all. I think we've seen the limitations of American boots on the ground and what we can accomplish in the Middle East over the last couple decades. You know, I'm really opposed at this point to sending more American boots on the ground. I think the approach we have now is a sensible one, where we focus on getting an Iraqi government that's stable, focus on getting local allies, other countries who are interested in fighting back against this new threat, which is an awful threat, and international allies. And then I thought that the airstrikes and some limited arming of Syrian rebels was the appropriate way.
So you would never consider boots on the ground?
I can't say never, but obviously at this point I'm certainly not considering it at all.
Given the continuing threats that we face and the fact that the military is such a huge part of our local economy, will you push for greater defense spending and a bigger budget?
I think, in general, I want a smarter budget, and I think San Diego will play a role in that. Frankly, I don't see how you cut it much more. We have new threats like ISIS. We have new threats from China. We're talking about reorienting rebalancing our forces to the east. Those threats aren't getting smaller, but we have to be smarter. We don't have all the money in the world. We can't be the world's policeman in every place. I think we learned that in the last decade. But I'm certainly very, very conscious, and I'm dedicated to making sure that San Diego continues to play a role in the national defense and that the national defense investments continue to support our economy.
As you probably already know, nearly 30% of the registered voters in the 52nd congressional district are called unaffiliated. They're basically independent. They will be critical because this is a close race, and the Republicans and Democrats are basically even in your district. What do you say to independent-minded voters who don't necessarily follow a party platform to convince them to vote for you without somehow alienating your base of Democrats?
Well, I mean, I've always been in this position. I've always been in the middle. When I was city council president, when I was a port commissioner, people saw me as the person who could work with everybody to get things done, and that's the way it's been in Congress. I was rated the fourth most independent Democrat because I am willing to cross the aisle when I see that the answers are on the other side. I think the difference between me and my opponent is that he's adopted these Tea Party positions. He calls it talking back to both parties, but the Tea Party is what really shut the government down. He's embraced the Tea Party, he works for the Reason Foundation, which is one of the intellectual centers of right-wing thinking. And that's fine, but the way you fix a broken Congress where there's too much fighting is not to send another Tea Party extremist. So what I said in 2012 and what I'll say again today is if you want someone who can work with everybody, I've shown that. people have recognized that, including the United States Chamber of Commerce, which has endorsed only 5 Democrats out of 250 candidates for Congress.
I have to wrap you right there. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Good luck. Remember, the election is November 4th. Get the latest at 10news.com.